So Antonia Okafor, conservative commentator and Trump supporter whose parents are from Nigeria, with us now, as well as Wendy Osefo, political commentator and race and culture researcher at Johns Hopkins University. Ladies, we appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wendy, of course, was born in Nigeria. So, Antonia, I do want to start with you because I know that you defended President Trump's past comments on immigration. In fact, did so just last month. Let's play a part of that.
This really goes out to this narrative of perpetuating that Donald Trump is racist. And I think American people are sick of this perpetuation when they haven't seen anything that have really shown anything of the sort.
After hearing these latest comments, do you still feel that same way?
Well, yeah, you know, as a proud daughter of Nigerian immigrants, I feel like it's important first to educate the American people. And I think, first of all, with Nigerian immigrants, they are the most educated immigrant group in America. They tout the most advanced degrees in America. They also make $10,000 more than the average white family in America as well. So I think it goes to show that, and Wendy also can personally attest as well, that Nigerian immigrants are very educated. They come from a country that has produced the best and the brightest, and they come here to America because of that. But when you
hear the president call it a shithole country, then how do you reconcile those two things?
Well, you know, if the reports are true, then I've never denied that. If the reports are true, then of course the president should absolutely apologize. And I just started that to show that, you know, it's not just the president, if the reports are true, that are ignorant when it comes to comments or to things like that. I think there are a lot of people in America who still thinks that Nigerian people or African people, unfortunately, come from a place that is not as developed as where they went to, and that's true. And there are a lot of aspects of that's true. So but I think it's for the wording, the vernacular, that unfortunately right now we're starting to deal with and we're starting to talk about.
So are you saying that you agree with Martin Luther King Jr.'s nephew, who said he believes the president is racially ignorant?
I believe that there are a lot of people who are ignorant when it comes to the fact that there are people who are not doing very well.
But based on the verbiage that he used, do you think the president is either a racist or is racially ignorant?
No, I don't think he's racist, because when it comes down to it, it's the policies, it's what he actually does, his actions that take place that show what he does.
He was talking about why are we letting people from these countries into the U.S. He was talking about immigration policies.
If we're going to talk about, you know, what people are saying as well, then I guess Hillary Clinton, who told black men like my father who went to Nigeria to say that, well, let me finish, well, that black men were super predators, and here we're not talking about that. So I think it's fair to say that we should focus on both sides.
I'm sorry. I want to give Wendy a chance to chime in here. Wendy, your reaction?
Absolutely. There's no gray area here. As a Nigerian immigrant, I am deeply offended by the president's racially charged comments. Not only are his comments racially charged, they're also statistically dubious. When we look at the figures, we see that 19% of white Americans have bachelor's degrees compared to 37% of Nigerians. And then 11% of white Americans have advanced degrees compared to 25% of Nigerians. So it's not just about saying comments that are offensive, it's also about saying things that are incorrect. And when we look at being a racist or a bigot, that's a moral issue. But when you transpose those same characteristics to the leader of the free world, then you have an administration who sets forth policies that nefariously impact black and brown people. We see this with DACA, we see this with the rollback of civil liberties with the DOJ. We also see this with the Muslim ban. So this is not about calling a group of people from a geographic location shitholes. This is about the shithole policies that are coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That's the issue.
You have said, Wendy, that the president is a racist, that he owes Nigerians and others an apology. What would that apology have to be for you to accept it?
For him to own up not just to the comments that he has made, but the systematic infractions he has made towards black and brown people during the tenure of his presidency. Let's talk about him not giving credence to LaDavid Johnson when he passed away, a fallen star hero. Let's talk about him saying in Charlottesville that there were people on both sides of the aisle. Let's talk about him trying to attack NFL and NBA players. He has systematically gone against black and brown people in this country, and as the the leader of the free world. We need to know that our leader does not sit here and segregate people. We need a unifier, not a divider in chief, and that's what he is. So he owes myself an apology.
And this is
Antonia,
where
let me
we're going
ask
to
you something.
disagree. The policies. He's actually done a lot for the African American community, more than I would say
What has he
President
done?
Obama, which I voted for twice, I will say, because I realized that his policies, the ones that he was implementing, were not actually helping the African American community. In fact, poverty levels went through the roof when he was president.
So, Antonia, let me ask you something.
In fact,
As an
a lot more
African
people
American,
were on.
Antonia, as an African American woman, how do you feel supported by President Trump?
I feel supported in the fact that he is for all Americans. My family came from Nigeria here for a better life. And regardless of the vernacular, the wording that people have been using right now, it was not a country that my family decided to stay in. They left everything behind and came here because America was the place where they were able to have the American dream. That to say as well, I think it's important that we show that those values that I have that have made me who I am today are also conservative values, and I'm going to support a president that's going to implement conservative policies.
You cannot support a president that doesn't like people who look like you.
You can't talk
out
at the same
of poverty,
time.
particularly African Americans, particularly Nigerians like me in
Okay,
America.
Wendy, go ahead.
You cannot support a president who does not support people who look like you, and that is the issue. He has talked about a judge not being qualified because of his Hispanic ancestry. He has talked about people, and then he further went ahead and said, we want people from Norway. So this is clearly an issue about race, and there is no way for you to delineate that or cut that. That is what this president is doing. He's trying to speak to his base, but what he's doing is he's continuing to wedge a divide within our society to make it a us versus them type of narrative. And anyone who supports that is supporting the wrong side of history.
If anyone is really making a divisive statement or really going to perpetuate, like I said before, the divisive nature right now between race, it's really stations like CNN that continuously talk about whether Trump is a racist, whether they have anything to back it or not. So
He is a racist.
I think that people in American people are kind of tired of that
He's a racist.
constantly there is nothing to back or substantiate what they have to say.
We have the government in South Africa calling him a racist today based on what he said. So we are trying to get through this conversation and figure out how we can all move forward and what that's going to take. Antonia, Wendy, we appreciate both of you taking time to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you.